Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. Before I move towards Pakistan, I want to give you a global overview. I say this is a very unusual day, very disturbing developments. When you hear that, as a result of an Israeli air raid, the Prime Minister of the Houthis in Yemen, Malik Ahmad Ghalib al-Rahawi, has died. Not only did he die, but 3 of his ministers, including his Foreign Minister, Energy Minister and Environment Minister, have also died. There is no remorse or regret or any sense of guilt from Israel's side. Instead, Israel's Defense Minister, Israel Katz, has said that this is a great achievement, a big job done, a major setback for the Houthis, and this is just the beginning. But he also justified it by saying that they were targeting the Houthi army chief, the military chief, their chief of defense and their defense minister. They are still assessing the current situation, and there is no information about the defense minister and the army chief. If this is the Israeli act on one side, on the other side, a related development in the Middle East is that the administration of America's leader Donald Trump has refused to grant a visa to the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, who is from the Fatah faction of the PLO. Mahmoud Abbas is generally close to Western establishments. They like him. He's their blue-eyed boy. But at this stage, they have refused to give him a visa because France, Britain, Canada, Spain, Ireland, Norway, etc. have already formally recognized Palestine. A formal recognition process is underway in the United Nations General Assembly, initiated by France, and Donald Trump hates Macron. You may have also heard how a government crisis erupted in France and the Prime Minister had to face a vote of no confidence. I strongly suspect this is connected to the Middle East situation. Some say it's about budget or finance, but I think there is a larger geopolitical strategy behind it. Anyway, to block the Europeans, Mahmoud Abbas was denied a visa. This has happened for the second time. Usually when someone comes to attend the UN General Assembly, it is mandatory under international law for the US to grant a visa, with only 3 exceptions, if there is a threat of terrorism or similar concerns. But here, the excuse was that the PLO and Mahmoud Abbas's party have not fully renounced terrorism and have not openly condemned the events of October 7, 2023. In 1988, Ronald Reagan's government had also done this when Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat was refused a visa to prevent him from giving a speech. However, the Europeans then shifted the UN session from New York to Geneva, and Yasser Arafat was able to deliver his speech there. We will see what happens now with Donald Trump's government. Meanwhile, the New York Times published a very interesting story revealing that Donald Trump, who had promised Narendra Modi on a June 17th call to attend the Quad Summit in India, has now changed his mind and will not be visiting India. This story also explains why Donald Trump is so angry with Narendra Modi, and it's linked to the India-Pakistan conflict. I will share more details about this later. It is a very interesting story. But first, let's look at the situation in Pakistan regarding the floods. The devastation caused by the floods is increasing, and it is becoming openly clear that the Punjab government, the federal government, its agencies and the media under their control are not allowing the full extent of the destruction to reach the public, because the government keeps saying that 2,100 villages are submerged. But the Farmers' Union and private sources on social media are reporting that approximately 25,000 to 26,000 villages are submerged in Punjab alone. There is still no clear picture about the situation in Sindh or the rest of Pakistan. There are reports that even areas around Lahore are receiving heavy rainfall. This means people in Punjab and Sindh are continuously under threat, and the coming days could be even more disastrous for them. The official death toll is said to be around 30 to 40, but private sources say more than 100 deaths have occurred. Despite the magnitude of the floods, the loss of life has not been very high because the Pakistan Army has carried out a major evacuation. Initially, it was said that 210,000 people were evacuated, but the Punjab Chief Minister says 600,000 people have been evacuated. Although the loss of life is not very high, the damage to property, livestock, crops and goods is immense. Experts warn that if you recall the 2022 floods shortly after Imran Khan's government ended and Shahbaz Sharif's government began, the water remained stagnant in Punjab and Sindh for months. People could not return to their homes or resume normal work, causing significant financial loss. There is no clarity on what will happen now. Indian newspapers like NDTV and others have a big headline, Mercedes versus the dump truck, with a photo from the Wagah border. The guard-changing ceremony at Wagah happens daily or maybe once or twice a week, as you know. The headline refers to the fact that the Pakistani side of Wagah border is completely submerged in water, while the Indian side is almost dry and without any waterlogging. The question arises because there are no upper or lower riparian rights there. There is no dam or gate that India has opened. It is clear that India has better water drainage on their side of the border and has maintained the water level properly. On the Pakistani side, the Wagah border is completely flooded. The agencies controlling that border and the most intelligent, smartest people managing it have not made any arrangements for water drainage. Indians are mocking and ridiculing the situation. If you search on Google or ask ChatGPT about how many major floods Pakistan has had since 1948, you will find that since 1950 till 2022, excluding the current flood, Pakistan has faced about 28 or 29 major floods. Smaller floods happen every year. Depending on how you define a major flood, after 2010, thousands of people have died, and approximately $60 billion worth of property has been destroyed in Pakistan, in current values. This research only considers West Pakistan, excluding former East Pakistan. This research also shows that since 2010, Pakistan has faced floods almost every year, causing major destruction due to environmental changes, glacial melting, growing population, urban overcrowding, riverbeds inhabited by people, lack of urban planning, blocked river routes, and no dams being built. When floods occur in Pakistan, the debate is limited to emotional arguments about human sympathy, blaming governments or blame-shifting among each other. You don't see any mature, rational debate about what needs to be done. Fortunately, Pakistanis have not done any significant intellectual work on floods, but you know, UNDP, the United Nations, the World Bank and the European Union have published many policy papers on Pakistan. If you spend some time reviewing them, as I have, you will find that these papers suggest solutions on how to prevent floods. They say that upper riparian areas, including Azad Kashmir and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, need large dams completed. Moreover, in various places in Pakistan, spillways need to be constructed with dams to hold back floodwaters by several feet, which will reduce pressure on riverbanks and prevent breaches. People near Mangla Cantonment or Mirpur will remember that when the Mangla Dam was built, a large spillway was constructed on its backside near the OTS training centre. Such spillways are necessary. Forestation is very important. When I was reading reports on this, I remembered that in Pakistan's 77 years of history, one politician, the chief executive, started focusing on forestation after 2013. Even in UN speeches, I recall Imran Khan standing up and saying that because of glacier melting and environmental changes, we need forests, so we are planting them. When he talked about the tree tsunami, the Sharif and Zardari factions mocked him as mad, but now they understand what he meant. Similarly, when Imran Khan had a conflict with Alim Khan, it was because Alim Khan wanted to extend his society, which is partly submerged, into the riverbed. I recall meetings with journalists in Banigala before Imran Khan became Prime Minister. When asked about the conflict and tension with General Bajwa, Imran Khan said the issue was related to heroin smuggling, which used to be very profitable. Real estate in Punjab and Pakistan politics has now taken the form of gold, and real estate has become like heroin smuggling, similar to drug cartels in Colombia. Real estate cartels have caused problems. Greed is rampant, and dealing with it has been difficult. Imran Khan did not name anyone but hinted at connections. General Bajwa had relatives interested in real estate, and Aleem Khan was very interested too. The report also proposes that Pakistan urgently needs a River Act to be passed by assemblies to regulate riverbeds, riverbanks, community settlements along rivers, town planning and river flow paths. India and Pakistan share this entire land and water. These are man-made states, but the land is God's creation. Yet these mischievous, irresponsible governments sit on top. Until these two unlucky countries develop water and land-sharing cooperation agreements like those between the US and Canada or within Europe, the destruction will not end. What is the current mental state of the Pakistani elite, the ruling class? You get a sense of their madness from a cycling club that recently held an event in Gujranwala. Their statements on Twitter and those of a well-known government anchor in Pakistan give you an idea. They will go, and those kinds of houses won't even come out for cycling. And we want to inculcate a habit of a very healthy kind of exercise and activity in people. What a huge hypocrisy and what a big lie this is. When you hear that after this healthy activity, they went to Gymkhana Gujranwala and ate a lot of chicken dishes, which nullifies all the healthy activity and its significance disappears. The real issue is that they are basically saying that if we could promote cycling events, where men and women come together, what is this thing? This is basically political optics. These are optics of the governments of Pakistan. I've been watching for the past 20 to 25 years. This is the optics through which the government sends messages to the world via pictures and footage that the government has done a lot of work on women's emancipation, women's freedom and modernity. What a big deceptive drama and hypocrisy this is. If anyone really thinks that women in Pakistan have the right to cycle, then they should raise that question in their minds. But this question is nowhere being debated. I just want to raise this question in your minds. Half of you will blindly follow me. In this country, Pakistan, if the population is 250 million, then it is said that 50% of that is women or girls. So out of these 120 million females in Pakistan, how many have been permitted by Pakistani society to freely go to school, college or university on bicycles or motorcycles? The way thousands or millions of girls in India reach their workplace, school or college on bicycles and motorcycles, in Pakistan, it's a different story. If you take a bicycle, you get shot. If you take a motorcycle, you get shot. The current situation is such that in Pakistani cities, after the Maghrib prayer, as soon as the sun starts setting, perhaps only women over 70 years old might be safe to be out. Otherwise, no woman can come out of the house. Only in some cantonment areas or defence housing authorities or barricaded societies like Bahria town can a woman run, walk or jog on the street at night. Although this is a land where severe heat lasts for 9 months. Elsewhere in the world, except Pakistan and some unfortunate countries in Africa, women can be found jogging or walking alone on the streets. But in Pakistan, that doesn't happen. Now, this IRIT club is promoting cycling interests, with the entire city police behind it. These are political optics and stunts. Who are you fooling? Moving forward to international issues, the entire world's eyes are now on the SEO summit in China. Its biggest significance is that all newspapers, agencies and American TV channels are saying the same thing. There, President Xi has India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on one side and Russia's President Putin on the other. And at this moment, while the US has upset all three, including Donald Trump, what discussions are happening in Pakistan? Representatives of the Sharif family and Asim Raza on Twitter are posting pictures that Narendra Modi received a cold welcome in China, with just a Chinese security person and a diplomat receiving him at the airport, with red carpet treatment and 7 little girls dancing on both sides. Meanwhile, at the airport there is a crowd with Shahbaz Sharif. I counted the people in that picture. 13 people with Shahbaz Sharif, 7 or 8 of them are his own people. 5 or 6 are Chinese, including a tall Chinese security officer and 2 or 3 minor officers. The reason for this is unknown. Perhaps Shahbaz Sharif brought his full protocol, so the Chinese sent a few more people. This does not mean, as Sharif family sycophants claim, that Shahbaz Sharif has any significance at that summit. If Pakistan has any importance, then the Chinese are smart enough to know that Pakistan's real power lies with Army Chief Asim Munir. The man sent, Shahbaz Sharif, is a poor, powerless, forced Prime Minister elected from Form 47. The Chinese are not so blind and deaf. They see the power dynamics of Pakistan clearly. On the other hand, the Indian Prime Minister, the Russian President and the Chinese media's focus is currently on them. What is disturbing for India is the situation explained in a New York Times story which I want to share with you in detail. Pakistan's newspapers have also quoted it, but if you want to fully enjoy it, read the 8 to 10 minutes long story on the New York Times. The story states that Donald Trump will no longer visit India. He had said he would attend the summit, but now his mood has changed. The story explains why Trump is so angry. According to the story, Trump is upset because India bought oil from Russia and is not opening its agriculture, auto and dairy markets to the US. But these are side issues. The real issue is that Trump's anger is directed at Modi. In a 35-minute phone call on June 17th, sources familiar with the call said Trump happily told Modi that Pakistan recommended him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump was hopeful Modi would also recommend him. But Modi didn't understand Trump's position or constraints and instead tried to convince Trump that the official narrative that India brokered the ceasefire was not entirely true. Pakistan's DGMO called India's DGMO, and this was a buttering issue, quite a complex one. India's political stance is always that Kashmir is a bilateral issue and third-party mediation will not be accepted. This is true. If they accepted it, would create many domestic political problems for them. People in India don't want to hear that India took dictation from America for war preparations. Modi tried to explain this to Trump, who was silent then, but later got very angry. The story also explains that Trump invited Modi to Washington after the G7 summit where they couldn't meet, but Modi declined on his team's advice. The real reason was that India feared Pakistan's army chief's presence in Washington might cause complexities if Trump tried to push for a meeting, creating diplomatic issues. Trump is now very annoyed with Modi and is trying to punish him. It was also revealed in German and Japanese papers, though denied by White House sources, that Trump's team tried 4 times to get Modi on the phone, but Modi's team declined. Reasons could be that Modi's team feared Trump would have the upper hand in a one-on-one talk, or that Trump would tweet about the meeting, causing more political complexities for India. Currently, relations between Trump and Modi are deteriorating. I had a discussion with Professor Steve Hanke, which I am editing before publishing. Many people asked what happened. I will release that soon. Steve Hanke said this could last from a few weeks to a few months. The result is that India's rupee is continuously plunging against the dollar. Though the dollar is weak itself, the rupee has dropped to its lowest value, around 88. Something like this would affect India's GDP growth, possibly lowering it by 0.6 to 0.8%. Meanwhile, Indians are happy that Japan's trade talks are stalled. Japan's chief negotiator cancelled a visit to the US to finalize 15% duties because the Trump administration is pressuring Japan to buy rice from the US, but Japan is reluctant. This issue should resolve soon. Meanwhile, India's ambassador has started briefing the Democratic Party because the Democrats have said Trump's dealings with India are jeopardizing 25 years of diplomatic engagement and strategic interests. An unexpected success for these groups came when New York's appeals court declared Donald Trump's taxes unconstitutional and illegal, giving the federal government until October 14th to get relief from the Supreme Court. I will release my discussion on India, Pakistan, China and Trump with Steve Hanke soon. The discussion is very interesting but delves deeply into economics and currencies, which might be too complex for many to watch fully. Additionally, I will release 2 videos in the next few hours, one in Urdu featuring a heated discussion with Harun Rashid about Pakistan's politics, history, formation, role of Maulvis and media, and the other with Steve Hanke. There are significant developments from the Pakistani-American communities. One involves amendments to the National Defense Authorization Act that affects Pakistan's military and GHQ linked to the Pentagon, with Pakistani-American groups introducing amendments. The other involves a Pakistani NGO, First Pakistan Global, writing a letter to President Donald Trump on behalf of Imran Khan and democracy, circulated for signatures by over 500 physicians so far. The significance of these developments, in my opinion, is that the Pakistani community, which was dormant from the 1960s to 2022, is gradually politicizing and becoming part of the American political system, which is a very positive development. Slowly, this effect will increase. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.